Kill your negative thinking. Stoic Zen. Why do we so easily believe the worst about ourselves? Why do fleeting fears grow into persistent narratives that shape how we live and what we become? And what if the real battle isn't in what happens to us, but in how we choose to think about it? Negative thinking is not just a nuisance, it's a quiet thief, stealing clarity, confidence, and peace. But as the Stoics taught, the mind is not a prison unless we give it the keys. And that's what this journey is about, reclaiming your mind, one thought at a time. Inspired by the unshakable wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, this reflection isn't about forcing blind positivity. It's about forging inner strength, Stoic strength, through perception, through discipline, through truth. Let's walk together through 10 timeless lessons to silence the noise of negativity and return to the quiet power within. Lesson 1. The power of controlling your perceptions. Most people live like this. They believe what they feel. They trust what their emotions say in the heat of the moment, and then they act blindly, reactively, often regretfully. But the Stoic doesn't blindly trust perception. He questions it, he examines it, and when needed, he rewrites it. Because the truth is simple, it's not what happens to you that shapes your life, it's how you perceive it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by anything external, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it, and it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now." That line alone contains a lifetime of freedom, because if pain doesn't come from the event, but from your interpretation of it, then peace is no longer something you chase. It's something you choose. Let's be clear. Controlling your perception doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing which part of reality you give power to. You can't stop the storm, but you can decide whether you stand in it or rise above it. You can't stop people from criticizing you, but you can decide that their words are just sounds, not truths. You can't stop failure, but you can choose to see it not as an ending but as a reshaping. This is the art of reframing. This is the Stoic's gift. And it starts in the gap between stimulus and response. Here's how to practice it. When something upsets you, pause. Don't act. Observe. Ask, what am I believing about this moment? Then ask, is this belief helping or harming me? If it's harming, drop it. If it's helping, own it. Your power lies not in control over life, but in control over how you see life. That's what separates the reactive from the resilient, the triggered from the tranquil, the ordinary from the Stoic. So remember this, you are not your emotions. You are not your first thought. You are the one who watches, the one who chooses. And when you choose wisely, perception becomes power. Lesson 2. Don't let your mind run wild. The mind is a powerful servant and but a dangerous master. Left unchecked, it wanders, it exaggerates, it invents fears, replays pain, and rehearses battles that never come. And most people, they follow it wherever it goes, believing every thought is truth, every fear is prophecy. But Marcus Aurelius warned, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This is not a quote for your journal. It's a commandment for your inner life. Because the untrained mind is like a wild horse. It doesn't just run. It runs into fire, into panic, into imagined futures, unnecessary arguments, and endless what-ifs. It doesn't take much. A delay becomes a disaster. A look becomes a judgment. A silence becomes rejection. But the Stoic doesn't chase these mental ghosts. He sees the mind for what it is, a tool, not a tyrant. To tame it, you must learn to sit above it, to notice when it wanders, to name what it's doing, and to guide it back, not with force, but with presence. Here's how. When a negative spiral begins, don't resist it, observe it. Say, that's a story, not a fact. Breathe. Return to the moment. Ask, what do I actually know right now? Because most suffering is created not by what happens, but by what your mind tells you is happening. And that's why the Stoics practiced mental stillness. They weren't emotionless, they were aware. They didn't suppress thoughts, they disciplined them. In a world where minds are constantly overstimulated, scattered, and restless, the ability to pause, to slow down, to redirect your attention isn't just rare, it's sacred. So don't let your mind run wild. It's fast, but you are still. It's loud, but you are deep. And when you return to that inner seat of calm awareness, you reclaim the reins, and the storm begins to fade. Lesson 3. Challenge the stories in your head. Every day, your mind writes stories. Stories about who you are, what others think, what will happen if you try or fail or speak up. And the tragedy, most people never stop to ask, is this story even true? The human mind is not just a thinker, it's a narrator. It fills gaps with fear. It recycles wounds into worldviews. It paints assumptions as facts, and then calls them reality. Marcus Aurelius, though an emperor, understood this danger well. He wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." That phrase, your way of thinking, is everything, because it reminds you you're not chained to the stories in your head. You're the editor. You can challenge them, rewrite them, or let them dissolve completely. Consider this. You walk into a room, no one greets you. Your mind says, "They're judging me. I don't belong." But is that truth or just a wound retelling itself? A friend forgets to reply. Your mind says, "They're mad at me." But what if they're just tired, distracted, human? Here's the shift the Stoic makes. They notice the story, they pause, and then they ask, what do I know for sure? What am I assuming? Is there another lens I haven't tried yet? When you start challenging your inner stories, you start reclaiming your power. You realize you don't suffer from events. You suffer from your interpretation of those events. And the great secret? Most of those interpretations are optional. You can tell yourself a story of victimhood or one of resilience, a story of rejection or one of redirection, a story of fear or one of opportunity, and whichever one you tell most often will become the life you live. So choose wisely, write consciously, and remember, you are not the voice in your head. You are the one who questions it, and when you do, you begin to lead it. Lesson 4. Refuse to be a victim of your thoughts. Your thoughts are not chains, but if you stop questioning them, they become one. Your mind is not your enemy, but if you let it run unchecked, it will turn against you. And in silence, in self-pity, in rehearsed pain, you begin to live like a victim of your own imagination. The Stoics refused this fate. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but he didn't write about conquering others. He wrote about conquering himself. He knew you can't always control your thoughts, but you can control how long you entertain them. Most people believe that because a thought appears, it must be true, but not the Stoic. The Stoic observes that thought, studies it, tests it, and if it's poisoned with fear, shame, ego, or delusion, he lets it go. Quietly, decisively, without drama. To be clear, this is not denial. This is discipline. Discipline of the inner world. Discipline to say, just because my mind said it doesn't mean I need to kneel to it. Victimhood begins when you stop separating your identity from your inner dialogue. You become what you think rather than who is thinking. But here's the truth. You are not your fears. You are not your doubts. You are not your worst-case scenario. You are the one who can stand beside those thoughts without collapsing. You are the one who can say, I see you, but I don't answer to you. Here's how to build this habit. Notice when a thought begins to spiral. Don't chase it. Observe it. Say to yourself, I don't need to believe everything I think. Return to the present, to your breath, to the body, to the ground beneath your feet. This practice is not flashy. No one sees it. No one applauds. But inside, you're taking your power back. Thought by thought, layer by layer, until your inner world becomes a place of strength, not sabotage. Refuse to be a victim of your mind, and you become the master of your peace. Lesson 5. Use obstacles as fuel. Most people see obstacles as the end. The Stoic sees them as ignition, because every wall is not a prison, it's a forge, a place where strength is refined, not broken. The average mind complains, blames, resents. The Stoic mind redirects. It studies the obstacle, not emotionally, but strategically. It doesn't ask, why me? It asks, how can this make me sharper? Marcus Aurelius wrote one of the most powerful truths ever captured. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This isn't just a quote. It's a posture. It means that the thing in your path is your path. The pain that slowed you, it now becomes your patience. The failure that humbled you, it now becomes your clarity. The resistance that frustrated you, it becomes the resistance that strengthens you. The obstacle doesn't disappear, but you rise above it, because now it serves you. Here's the Stoic shift. You don't wait for life to get easier. You don't wish for fewer burdens, you train for stronger shoulders, and in doing so your inner voice changes. Instead of I can't believe this happened, it becomes this is hard, but it's shaping me. To live this lesson, when something blocks your way, don't curse it. Study it. Ask, what is this teaching me that comfort never could? Then, move through it, around it, or above it, but never backwards. Life was never meant to be obstacle-free. growth was never meant to be easy, and peace was never meant to be passive. True Stoic calm comes not from having a smooth road, but from becoming the kind of person who walks through fire and doesn't lose themselves. Use the obstacle. Let it carve you. Let it burn what's not needed. And rise, not untouched but reborn. Lesson 6. Detach from the need to control everything. The more you try to control life, the more it controls you. The tighter you grip, the more fragile your peace becomes. And the moment you believe you must control everything to feel safe, you've already lost your freedom. The Stoics understood a simple, powerful truth. Some things are within your control. Most are not. And your suffering begins the moment you confuse the two. You can't control the weather. You can't control what people say. You can't control how long something lasts or whether someone stays. But you can control how you meet, how you respond, how you carry yourself in the chaos. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." That line is not about apathy, it's about mastery, because the moment you stop trying to own everything, you begin to own yourself. Detachment is not disinterest, it's clarity. It's saying, I'll give my full effort, but I will not chain my peace to the outcome. It's showing up with your whole heart, but leaving space for reality to do what it does. To live this way is rare, because the world teaches the opposite. It says, plan harder, predict more, secure everything. But the Stoic says, control what's yours, let go of the rest. So how do you practice it? Each morning remind yourself, I don't control outcomes, I control effort. When stress rises, pause. Ask, is this within my influence? If it is, act. If it's not, release. And yes, releasing is hard. Letting go feels like falling. At first. But then you realize you weren't holding life up. You were just tightening your fists. And now, your hands are free to hold what matters, to face what's real, to move, not with fear, but with flow. This is detachment, not escape, but return to peace that no outcome can take. Lesson 7. Don't add imaginary problems to real ones. Reality is already heavy enough. Why make it heavier in your mind? Why suffer twice? Once in the body and once in imagination? And why bleed emotionally over things that haven't even happened? This is the quiet disease of modern thought. We rehearse disaster. We pre-live failure. We carry pain that hasn't arrived and might never come. Marcus Aurelius warned us plainly, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. In other words, it's not the thing, it's your thinking. You get an email. It's unclear. Your mind writes a novel of rejection, you make a mistake. Your mind draws the worst-case future in full color. You feel anxious. Your mind concludes, something must be wrong. But what if you just paused? What if you said, this is the only pain I have, what's here now? I will not build it bigger in my mind. The Stoic understands, pain is real, but most suffering is optional. Optional but deeply habitual. To live free of this trap, you must break the habit of imagined doom. That means observing your thoughts like clouds. Some pass, some grow dark. But you are the sky, not the storm. Here's how to practice it. When anxiety strikes, don't feed it stories. Name what's actually happening. If your mind says, "What if?" respond with, "What is?" When your imagination races ahead, call it back. Into the breath, into the now, into the stillness that exists beneath the noise. You cannot avoid every hardship, but you can refuse to build more than what's real. You can meet life on its terms, without stacking fiction on top of fact. One problem is enough. Don't carry 10 more in your mind. Free yourself from the weight that never needed to exist, and return to calm, to clarity, to now. Lesson 8. Build an inner refuge. Where do you go when the world turns cold? Where do you retreat when noise surrounds you, when opinions attack, when peace feels out of reach? If your answer is nowhere, it's time to build one. The Stoics knew the world is unpredictable. People are reactive. Life is often loud, unstable, and unfair. But calm, real unshakable calm, must come from within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." And he was an emperor, surrounded by war, intrigue, pressure. Yet he didn't search for comfort outside. He created it inside. That's the Stoic path. To build a place no one can touch. No noise can penetrate. No drama can reach. Your refuge isn't a vacation. It's not escape. It's a return to center. When life gets loud, you go inward, not to hide, but to reset, to remember. You are not your job. You are not your stress. You are not how they treat you or what they say. You are the one who breathes beneath all of. There's the calm beneath the current, the space between the noise. So how do you build this refuge? Practice stillness. Even 5 minutes a day, eyes closed. Attention within. Create a space, physical or mental, where you reconnect. A phrase, a breath, a chair in the corner of the room. When stress hits, return there, even for one inhale. This is not about escape, it's about equipping yourself. Because once you've built your refuge, the world can't shake you as easily. And when it does, you know where to go. Not outward, but inward. Where your values live, where your strength waits, where your peace has never left. The Stoic doesn't wait for peace to arrive. He goes to where it already exists and builds from there. Lesson 9. Practice mental minimalism. Your mind was meant to be clear, not cluttered. But most people carry more thoughts than they need, more worries than are real, more noise than their soul can hold. What if the greatest clarity doesn't come from doing more, but thinking less? Mental minimalism isn't about emptiness. It's about essence. It's the discipline of saying, I will not let my mind become a junk drawer for every passing fear, opinion, or distraction. The Stoics lived this. They didn't decorate their thinking with drama. They kept it simple, sharp, steady. Because clarity, true clarity, needs space. Marcus Aurelius wrote, If you seek tranquility, do less. Or more accurately, do what's essential and cut everything else. The same applies to thought. If you want peace, stop inviting everything into your head. You don't need to solve every problem. You don't need to react to every headline. You don't need to process every emotion in real time. Mental minimalism says let go of the extra, keep the essential, and you'll begin to see clearly again. So how do you practice it? Start with the question, is this thought useful or just loud? Reduce inputs. Fewer tabs open, fewer voices in your feed. Less mental multitasking. Write things down. Don't let your brain become a storage unit. Free it to think, not just to hold. And then, breathe. You'll feel it. The weight lifts. The fog thins. And there it is again. Presence. Because when you clear the mental clutter, what's left is powerful. A focused mind, a calm heart, a steady soul. That's not emptiness. That's alignment. That's what happens when the Stoic mind chooses simplicity over stimulation. Lesson 10. Rule your mind or it will rule you. Your mind is always leading. The question is, who is it leading? You or your fear? You or your ego? You or your wounds? The Stoics never saw the mind as something passive. They saw it as a throne. Either you sit on it, or something else does. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It's not just about managing thoughts, it's about owning them, leading them, ruling them with clarity, not emotion, with principle, not impulse. Because if you don't rule your mind, it will rule you. And it doesn't rule gently. It rules through anxiety, through self-doubt, through false urgency, false stories, false fears. To rule your mind is not to suppress it, it's to structure it, to train it the way a warrior trains the body. Patiently, intentionally, every single day, it's waking up and choosing what enters, choosing what lingers, choosing what does not get to stay. Here's how. Begin your day with silence, not scrolling. Decide who you are before the world tells you who to be. When a thought arrives, ask, does this build me or weaken me? If it weakens, don't fight it. Dismiss it. Like a king dismisses a court jester, with grace and without attention. Over time, your mind becomes an ally again, a council of strength, not a swarm of confusion. And one day you realize the chaos didn't leave the world, but it did leave you because you've taken back the throne, and no thought, no fear, no lie gets to rule without your permission. This is your mind. This is your kingdom. And you, quiet, steady, present, are its rightful king. If something here awakens something in you, a moment of peace, a breath of clarity, a seed of strength, then consider staying on this path with us. At Stoic Zen, we don't chase answers. We build inner stillness. We don't seek applause. We return to alignment. And in the noise of modern life, we choose presence over performance. So if that speaks to you, subscribe, not to follow more, but to remember more of who you already are. Stay grounded, stay calm, stay stoic.